Today I'm breaking down everything that's going on inside the Spring Hill, Tennessee housing market. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Brandon Johns. I'm a real estate agent here in Nashville, and my partner Sam and I help families from all across the country find their home here in Middle Tennessee. And today we're going to be covering the Spring Hill, Tennessee housing market. We're going to get into home prices, we're going to talk about what's driving so much demand, and a few other important metrics along with mortgage rates as well. So first, let's cover demand. First, what's driving so much of Spring Hill's demand is the Middle Tennessee job growth from companies making massive investments in Nashville and the surrounding areas. For example, In-N-Out Burger just announced that they're moving their corporate headquarters to Franklin, and that's a $125 million investment. It's going to be right here in the Berry Farms community. And I can go on and on about other companies doing the same thing, but just know that every day people are relocating here to the Middle Tennessee area. Now, why Spring Hill specifically? Well, Spring Hill is actually one of the most affordable cities inside of Williamson County. And Williamson County is so popular because it is the #1 public school district in the entire state of Tennessee. To give you an idea of how much growth Spring Hill is experiencing, it was published that Spring Hill ranked 10th fastest growing city in the entire country with more than 50,000 people here in 2021. Now let's jump into my computer and take a look at the numbers. So right here, we're looking at the median sales price. So these are the home values here in Spring Hill. And as you can see, in January of 2023, it was $530,000. This peak right here is $570,000, and so that's a 7% decrease from $570 to $530. But as you can tell, this is the monthly chart, so it's fairly volatile over the last few years. I do want to point out that January in 2022 was $432,000, and that's a 22% increase to $530,000 of January in 2023. So even with all of last year's craziness, you can see that Spring Hill's home prices have increased over the last year, but let's dive into a few other metrics to get a better picture of really what's going on here. We're gonna take a look at a few different metrics like days on market and months supply to get a better feel of the inventory that's out there. So as you can see, the median days on market of January in 2023 is 14. Now we don't have the full months of data for February, so right now I'm filming this middle of February, but we'll have that next month as we roll into March. But as you can see, days on market in January is 14, which is a large increase if you go back to all of last year. You're seeing all the way up into August, we were sub 3 days on market. And then once rates started really increasing, the days on market moved up pretty dramatically. Now, what to know with days on market? Days on market is how long homes are sitting on the market before they go under contract. And this can be used as a leading indicator because as homes sit on the market longer, then sellers start to feel the pressure. They want to decrease their prices so they can get their home sold, or they offer to pay for closing costs, or even do rate buy downs like we've started to see over the last few months. Now, this 3-year chart looks very dramatic of how much it's increased, but let's open this up to 5 years to kind of see what's normal. So as you can see here, through 2019, which was a pretty typical market, 2018, 2019, in the Middle Tennessee area, you can see that the median days on market were fluctuating all the way up. February 2019 is 33, 18 here, 12, you're down to 2 in October, so it fluctuated quite a bit, but the days on market was anywhere between 12 to 25, 30-ish. So looking at this bigger picture, don't expect home prices to just all of a sudden crash because days on market are no longer 1 day on the market. Now, the next metric we're gonna look at is month supply. And month supply essentially means that with the current inventory that's on the market, how long would it take to sell out all of the inventory given the current sales pace? So as you can see here in January 2023, the month supply is 2.6. And if you look at this 3-year chart, we are still well below this kind of average of 4 or 5. And now a quick note, when I say the average market in the Middle Tennessee area, it's just, there's been so much demand. So a typical market that you might see elsewhere where there's less, relocations and people moving here might look more towards this 6-month supply. So the 6-month supply is technically right at the middle of between a buyer's market and a seller's market. So anything lower than 6-month supply is technically a seller's market, and anything above 6-month supply is a buyer's market. So I'm sure you've seen in the US in general, supply has been a huge issue over the last few years, and especially here in the Middle Tennessee market, with demand being so strong, we're seeing our month supply right here over the last October 2021 was 3, and here in Spring Hill, we are been sub 3 month supply since October of 2021. So we are still in a seller's market, even though it may not feel like it. It's just because we came out of an extreme seller's market here with less than 1 month supply in February of 2022 at the peak of it all. But we are technically not in a buyer's market yet, even though we're starting to see, sellers pay for closing costs, etc. This data shows us that, hey, we are still in a seller's market. And to give you a better picture of the average inventory that Spring Hill's had over the years, this is our 9-year chart, and going back all the way to 2014 here. And you're gonna see right here, this is the light green is for sale, so homes on the market, and then the dark green is sold. And as you can see, through these average years here, coming out of the recession into a typical market here in Spring Hill, we've got anywhere from 350-ish, around 350 to 400 homes. And now if you look at what we experienced over the last few years, we had anywhere from maybe just over 100 homes on the market for multiple quarters in a row. Now, right now what we've seen in 2022 and 2023 is we've got still sub 300 homes. So if anywhere on the normal peak right here of 400 homes, we are just a little bit more than half of actual homes on the market compared to what we were seeing here in 2018, 19, 2014, 15. Now we did have a shortage of supply here in 16 and 17, but this should hopefully paint the picture for you of really how many homes are actually on the market. Yes, we are seeing increase in inventory from 2021 to 2022, but the data is definitely showing us that we're not seeing enough inventory for some large decrease in prices across the board, especially with the Middle Tennessee and Spring Hill demand that we're continuing to see. Now, the last metric I want to talk about before we go into interest rates is pending sales. And as you can see, we are at 100 homes under contract in January of 2023. And that's a spike up from this just decreasing trend over the last few months of 2022. And these months were when the sharpest interest rate hikes were happening. So pending sales were going down, buyers were losing purchasing power, and sellers started to realize that, hey, maybe I was pricing my home in a lower rate environment, and now that we're in higher rates, I need to account for that, whether that's offering to pay for closing costs, decreasing their prices, or try to offer, rate buy downs and other creative ways to make it enticing for a buyer. Now, we did see interest rates come down sub 6, and I'll talk about that in just a second. So we saw an increase in mortgage applications, and just going into the spring season and summer season in general, that's the hottest time of the year for real estate. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see more pending sales going into February, but this is just something that we want to keep an eye on to give us a better feel with all of these metrics together of really what's going on in the Spring Hill market and give us an educated prediction on what's going to happen going forward. Now, before I touch on mortgage rates, 90% of the people that we work with either have an unclear idea of when's the right time to buy or sell, or they just don't have a clear financial picture for their goals. So what I've done is I've put together a team of financial experts and local real estate investors, and we do what we call a smart investors meeting. So if you'd like to chat about your situation, just shoot me an email and I'd be happy to set a meeting. It's 100% no obligation. So now let's talk about mortgage rates. As you can see right here, the current 30-year fixed is 6.78%. But what I want to show you is, like I touched on earlier, about 2 weeks ago, we were sub 6, which is a big deal. And to give you an idea of the impact that this has, let's look at a current rate right now so let's just make the home price the average in Spring Hill. So 530,000. And so with everything, if we don't change anything else, we've got 3171 as your total payment, right? Now let's just move this down to 6% like we saw 2 weeks ago. And the payment is down over $200. And to just give you a general idea of the payment that you'd be paying right now with our 6.78%, if you take the 6% 2 weeks ago, you could buy a $575,000 house for the same monthly payment as you would now for a $530,000 house. So that's a $45,000 swing. So that makes a big impact for buyers in the entire market. Now, for all of these different metrics that I talked about, you can make different assumptions on whether you think prices are gonna go up, whether you think they're gonna go down. But over the years, what I like to rely on is, yes, it's important to look at the monthly and quarterly and yearly data of all these different metrics, but Really, if you're investing in a market that's in demand, that's going to be your best bet for the long term. And everyone's situation is different. Someone might be moving here and moving their family here, and they know that their kids are 3 years old, they're gonna put them into Williamson County schools, and they're gonna be here for the next 15 years at least till they graduate, versus somebody that may just be looking for a 1-year flip. You know, obviously those are different situations since they need to time the market differently. So I hope this video gave you a better idea of what's going on here in the Spring Hill market, but I do have a more detailed report. It was a little bit too much for this YouTube video, but I'd be happy to send that over to you. So just send me an email and I'll send that to you. But also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We're posting videos like this, more market updates on different cities in the Nashville, Middle Tennessee area, but also info videos on new developments, neighborhood tours, suburb tours, all the things that you need to know if you're looking to relocate here to the Nashville area. So make sure you subscribe, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.